Time is 6:35. The date is Tuesday, January 21st, 2020. The City of East Cleveland regular council meeting is now called to order. Dr. Guy, can you call the roll, please?
Council Austin.
Present.
Council Stevenson. Present. Council Martin.
Present.
Council Zelli. Present. And Council Smith.
Present.
No one for the administration.
Thank you, Dr. Guy. Next we have remarks of public on agenda items, 2 minutes. Please give your name and address clearly for the record. I'm just mainly concerned about your name and street.
Ordinance number 2-20. The ordinance pursuant to section 333-.03 of the codified ordinance of the city of East Cleveland regulating the vehicle speed, 25 miles an hour. As I was doing some research, and most districts, resident as well as commercial districts, have either 25 or 35 and what have you, and that most of the cities, as I've done my research on those things, it was the commercial districts, school, and residential. That's 25 miles or 35. So I hope that you, as a council, is duty bound to make the laws. And the administration is to see that they are implemented. And the court sees that they are enforced. So it's incumbent upon you to make the laws in reference to the speed limit in the residents of the city. And so we will have the last say as to if we do not look out for the interest, as some of you said, right needs of the people. That is an interest, and it takes precedent over anything else. The safety, the health, and the benefit of the residents whom you serve at the behest of. Well, I'm going to.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Anyone else? Thank you very much.
The mayor's on his way.
Okay. Next we have minutes to be approved. Got the December 17th, 2019 regular council meeting minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the December 17, 2019.
You have a second? That's what you read the minutes.
Yeah, just got it. So I don't want to vote on it because I had a chance
I
to read
understand.
it.
Yes, sir. Table and move to the next meeting. All right, thank you. Acknowledging the mayor. Mayor King.
What's up, Brandon King?
We coming up to you next. Reports and announcements from Mayor Brandon L. King.
Council President, I'm going to turn this. It's what we call a Tuesday Monday. It's Tuesday. You get all the stuff from Monday. So try to keep it brief. I want to make a couple announcements. One, for those of you who didn't catch the news, Ohio Means Jobs is over at the library for partnership. We have enacted with them to help East Clevelanders find and develop careers. Not really about jobs, it's about careers, changing one's life, giving them the skills, training necessary to then pursue those jobs and careers. So for those of you who haven't been to the library, I invite you to go, send people you know. There are jobs available to help you with resume writing, soft skills, hard skills, and help you get a job. Special Purpose Grant 33, we have talked at length over the years about that. It's been on the books since 1990. We are finalizing the arrangement with Tri-C to execute that special purpose grant, and we're hoping to place that at the library as well to provide more services to East Cleveland residents. Also at the library, for those of you who need a job and like working with your hands, we do have an arrangement with an organization that will drive you out to Finland, I believe it is, to build boats. Transportation is free. Finley, Ohio is where they're building the boats.
Actually, it's Mentor, Lake County.
Lake County is where they're building boats. You get transportation there and back.
Jobs start at $13 an hour for the first 90 days. After you make your 90 days, it goes up to $16 an hour.
You get that? $13 an hour for the first 90 days, and after that,
16.
$16 an hour. I was just handed this census. This is about census 2020 is this year's census. I would encourage those, again, employment opportunities. This pays between $20 and $22.50 per hour. There are a number of different jobs available. I would encourage you to encourage people to get active, get involved.
And that one, they're going to have a recruiting event at our own East Cleveland Public Library.
There will be a recruiting event for Census 2020 at the East Cleveland Library. Does it have a date?
24th.
There it is.
24th.
January 24th at 11 a.m. sharp. For those of you not interested in a job, we do need you to participate in the census. It is how municipalities get funding based on your census. And finally, it is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s holiday, and I always dedicate it to our elder statesman, Councilman Martin. When I first got on council, he did it, and I went home and had a long talk with Wheeler, and you know, he was right about something. So I'll pass this around, and it's a bunch of different quotes. It's about 55 different quotes from him. Let me read one. There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor polite, nor popular, but he must take it because conscience tells him it is right. I'll give you one more for the road, then I'll pass this around. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy.
I feel it. I feel it.
I hope I didn't take any of your thunder for the night, because I know you probably was going to
You
quote
hear that,
that.
Austin?
I'll pass this around.
Oh, goodness.
Here, let me pass it to them first. So that that concludes my report unless there's any, questions or concerns. I can definitely make copies.
Brenda to make some copies,
Can you make a couple copies of this?
especially one I need for my archives. Thank you.
About that.
Next, we have receipts of communication.
Few, came in. The first one is from the Board of Elections, just notifying municipalities, of the deadline for charter amendments that will be on the March ballot, but East Cleveland, does not have any submitted at this time.
I know you did.
Hopefully, council will engage mayor in developing a charter commission we've been discussing. The next one is we have, is from the Jobs and Family Services Ohio. They'll be having a, speaking of census 2020, they'll have a forum Thursday at the McGregor Community Center. Our council president will be on the panel. That is going to be from 9 to 10:30.
What is that again?
This Thursday, January 23rd.
And what is it?
It's a forum. They want to get residents engaged in the whole 2020 process. They're going to have a panel, which our council president will be on, to try to get more folks engaged in the process.
When you say 2020, you talk about divisioning or when,
Well,
be more
it's called
specific?
Census 2020. That's
Or the
the,
census?
right, Census 2020.
Thank you.
Next one is from the Ohio Ethics Commission, just a reminder to council that you are responsible for submitting your fiscal disclosure information by May 15th. You all have the information.
Do you need to,
Well, I just need to notarize the document from you. Not now, but.
Oh, I can run up and get mine. I'll be right back. I'll get mine. There.
And then we're, been in discussion with Granicus, to look at getting minutes and agendas online, so, council president is looking at we'll be looking at the proposals for that. I've been in discussions with them for the past year, so we have that, it was approved in our budget, so we're gonna move forward with that. And that is it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Gunn. Next, we have reports from council committees, personnel and appointments.
Yeah, I hold that chair and I'm on the personnel and appointment. And Tuesday, January the 28th, at 6:30, I will be here for the appointment for personnel and appointment.
what time is Gotti?
6:30.
6:30?
Yes, I'm on that committee.
You chair that committee, don't you?
Yeah, I chair that committee.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Next, we have general services.
General Services Committee hasn't met yet, but we will be meeting at 5:30 on
February 20th.
February 20th,
Yes, sir.
Thursday.
It says
It's
step
a
on
bit.
this agenda,
Yeah, I know what it says, but it was changed, that's a correction.
but we need to know that. February what?
20th. 2/20/20.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Next, we have contracts and property.
Greetings. I chair contracts and property. We did have a meeting this month, and we discussed community development and economic development. We also discussed the uses for the community development block grant funding. The things we can use the dollars for would be to obviously enhance our community, and the goal in the long term is to actually do some rehabilitation in the city. So we have not determined how that's gonna, what it's gonna look like. We are gonna establish the criteria so we can actually do some rehabilitation of some homes in the city. So there's gonna be a strict criteria so we make sure that we don't overspend on one home and we can take care of and complete several projects. So more to follow because that's up and coming. So
How much?
more to follow because that's up and coming. So we will discuss more about it in the future, and that's where we are. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilman Austin. I chair the Finance Committee. Finance Committee met Tuesday, January 14th. We discussed the December 2019 financial report, which is the end of the year financial report. Our general fund ended in the black, which is a great thing for us. Just a few notes. For the year 2019, our estimated revenues were $12.5 million. Our year-to-date revenue was $12.7 million. The end of the year. That's $185,091.61 more than anticipated. At the end of 2019, our end of the 2019 expenses compared to appropriations, $14,389,679.69 was appropriated. Our year-to-date expenses, meaning how much we spent, was $13,389,687.55, meaning we underspent by a little under $700,000. Also, the Financial Commission passed the Financial Recovery Plan. We met January 15th, 2020. The next finance meeting will be February 11th at 6:30, right here in this very room. Thank you very much. Oh, and sorry about that. The next regular council meeting will be Tuesday, February 4th at 6:30. The next agenda review meeting will be January 30th at 6:30.
What about health and safety? Did you skip that?
No, I didn't. Councilman Martin said loud and clear his. You didn't?
No, health and safety.
I apologize.
That's okay.
You should have cut me
I
off.
know I'm
You
not
should have cut me
out
off.
of
No,
no.
you should have. I apologize.
That's
Health and
okay.
safety, Councilman Martin. I don't know how I did that.
That's all right. I'm a positive person. And,
Sorry.
I want to thank Brandon King for starting out the meeting with Dr. King and the quote, "The ultimate measure of a man is not what he stands times of comfort and convenience, but what he stands in times of challenge and controversy." And we face that in this political arena. We face that in America. We face that with the president. I need to say before I make this report that we must have had at least 10 meetings on this speed limit. And I think we're ready to move forward. It's unfortunate, one of the citizens asked why come was an emergency, because I don't think the votes are there. But the key factor is safety. 25 miles per hour has been advocated by me, the mayor, Michael Smedley, and a bunch of citizens, Mr. Smith, that talk to me like they talk to you. We need people to slow down. We need them to stop and purchase things at our stores. So here's, if you bear with me, because I'm very comprehensive. I've been raised that way. Okay. Health and Safety Committee met Tuesday, January the 14th. Health and safety basically covers the fire and police. We start with the police. Acting Police Chief Commander Scott Gardner and Commander Lundy were in attendance. 2 officers have been assigned to traffic duty. Recently, 2 people have been interviewed, so we can increase that. 13,000 outstanding warrants out there. That's millions of dollars. And for the new council people, this has come up off and on over the years, this warrant money that we should be able to get some of it, not all of it. We're in favor of reducing the speed limit. That's most of us. There has been an increase in accidents on Euclid since the speed has not been enforced. Enforcement is the key. I think you said that, Mr. Austin. So we need, if we're gonna do the enforcement citizens, we gotta have a little more police on the street. And I think if we do it consistently, we'll be able to generate enough revenue to hire a few more police. Also, I should throw a caveat in there, since the mayor's been in contact with the governor of the state of Ohio, Mike DeWine, they're willing to help us get grants through the state and federal government that will assist us in that. Michael Smedley says safer speed to reduce the speed. He's in favor of that. Brandon King, one speed for consistency. You talked about we need to be consistent. We don't need one section of Euclid with 25, another section with 35. So it's my bias that we do the 25, all the way through Euclid Avenue. 88% of the people outside of the city get citations. So most of our people are basically law-abiding citizens, but a lot of the tickets we get at the school for the speed light cameras and going down Euclid, people outside the city flying through here trying to get through. Starting pay for police officers, this was brought up at the meeting, is $19 an hour. We don't pay our police officers a lot. And I can tell you from looking at the stats over the years, our police and fire do more runs and do more than almost any police department in Cuyahoga County. Wages, benefits, and pension for police, we're current with that, and that's one of the pluses. We're pretty good with that. Fire. Our fire chief is Mike Salika. There are a few vacancies that he said they're working on. He talked about an FG grant to help buy equipment and a safer grant. But the grants have sustained us, but the grants eventually run out, and we have 18 firefighters may be in question because of once the grants run out, they're gone. That's why your conversation with the governor and trying to connect to these state grants and federal grants will help us. A major issue with the fire department is repairing equipment. Our equipment is old. It needs to be repaired like any car. You have to repair the car. So we have a challenge there in that, and it costs money. An alarming number of citizens don't have adequate insurance. That came up. You have to have insurance on your house and all like that, but a number of our citizens maybe can't afford it, but that's important. We are working with the University Hospital to help us in some areas. Firefighting department gets an insurance rating up. If our insurance rating is up, it saves us money. Memorandum of understanding to get smoke detectors. That's some legislation that will come up today where you'll be entitled to get 3 smoke detectors in your home. They'll be installed by our fire department, and there's certain regulations that I'll articulate when we get to the legislation. Also, here's another plus, another positive. You'll get batteries, and unlimited batteries to put in these smoke detectors. So that's another positive for our safety and for you. That covers basically all of it. I do want to say this in closing with the Health and Safety Committee meeting. We meet consistently. I thank my colleagues for their support. I do think that this speed limit is vitally important. I do think that when you think about it, safety is a major issue, but we only talk about less than 3 miles for the most part. So it's not that big a deal. It's not big like a Cleveland with the east side and the west side. It is huge. So we need the paramount thing that sticks with me, wherever you stand philosophically, is that we need to make sure things are safe for our children and for our citizens. We should be able to cross the street. Thanks to the governor coming here, we got some lights installed that should have been installed back so our kids can go to Heritage School, and for people on walkers and that to have to cross the street that don't have transportation. So this legislation coming up to reduce the speed is going to be vitally important. The other caveat is, according to the mayor and some of us here, is we want some, signage that we said we wanted to put out, so that's why we're not doing an emergency. We'll give time for us to get the signs and these blinking lights. If you've ever been to University Hospital and you go down to Dalbert and some of those streets, they got these yellow, you see the yellow lights, well, people stop. I watched them a couple of times, and Brother Smith, the employees or people go there, they don't stop, they just go across. They just go across, don't even look whether the traffic's stopping. So That's another barrier that will slow people down. But we live in a high-paced, fast-paced society, and we need to slow down a little bit. We need to do that. So, Mr. Chairman, that concludes health and safety. I've given my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Martin, and once again, I truly apologize.
That's okay.
Next, we have proclamations.
None at this time.
Thank you. Bids.
None at this time.
Thank you, Dr. Guy. We move on to legislation.
Okay, ordinance number 01-20 is the first read. The ordinance authorizing the mayor to continue the services for $5,500 of the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District for the purpose of providing technical assistance in implementing soil and water conservation measures in order to implement the public involvement in public education PIPE requirement under the Ohio EPA Municipal Septic Storm Sewer Discharge MS4 permit, requested by Mayor Brandon L. King and sponsored by Mayor Austin, Councilor at Large.
Thank you, Dr. Guy. Ordinance number 01-20 bears the name of Councilman Timothy Austin. Have any discussion, Councilman?
I do, just as a reminder, this is a recurring piece of legislation, and it is good for the Clean Water Act, and also provides opportunities for us to receive some training. So hopefully we can get that training, make it available, and possibly in General Service Committee, and just kind of talk about what we can do to help the environment.
Can I ask you what kind of training for me and the public, what kind of training is involved with this?
It should take some, don't pour this down in your toilet. These are things that we can do to, enhance our clean water supply so our children can, have the advantage, and grandchildren have the advantage of having clean water. And the less work they have to do to purify the water, the less it costs. And that's plain and simple.
What is that stuff you said you put in there?
I said not putting it. Like, don't pour antifreeze down there. I see people
Oh.
from the old school still pour oil down into the sewer drain. That's what not to do. So and I had a man 50-something years old, I seen about to do that, and I asked him why would he even consider doing that? Because that's the way he's always done it. So somebody need to be informed about what not to do. So this is an opportunity for us to officially receive notes about what we should not do. And it's very important. So that's a part of what I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I just wanna know about the training part.
Yes,
Who's being trained?
Any resident to show up to the open general services, I don't want to volunteer your committee, this is an opportunity for the community at large to come out and receive some additional information about water conservation and energy correction and environmental conservation, what not to do to our environment.
Thank you, Councilman. Thank you. Next, Dr. Guy.
Ordinance number 02-20, first read, an ordinance pursuant to section 333.03 codified ordinances of the city of East Cleveland, regulating the vehicular speed limit on the city of East Cleveland to change the speed limits to 25 miles per hour from 35 miles per hour for the streets of Superior Avenue at 12501 to 14140 and Euclid Avenue at 12408 to 16383, requested by the police chief and sponsored by Nathaniel Martin, Councilor at Large.
Councilman Martin.
Yeah, I articulated it earlier, and I think Brandon was on point. We need to be consistent with the speed all the way across Euclid Avenue and up Superior. And the issue, from my vantage point, is safety. And the reason why it's not an emergency is the fact that we need time to get these other things in place. So by the time we vote on it, we should have everything in place. We've got to slow down. Where was I today? I was in an area outside of East Cleveland, and it's a business area, and I was just perusing 25 miles per hour. I could have done 30, but I got a chance to see things that I didn't see, and it hit me. I said, this 25 miles per hour is doable. okay? It's doable, okay? And I say that we're always rushing to do things today, but we need to slow down a little bit, okay? So this is the first reading, so we won't vote on it. And after, my goodness, 10 to 15 meetings on this thing in the last 3 or 4 months, we'll be ready to act. The lights will be in place, etc. And you test it. You test it. This 25 miles per hour is doable. The school area is 20 miles per hour. Again, safety. So the issue is safety. With the economic, and I'll close with this, with the economic development that the mayor and them has been working on for the last year or so, business being developed, a lot of projects that they've been working on, we need people to stop at our stores. But they can't stop if you're flying through here to get out of here. Okay? So this is, I can't think of a more important piece of legislation at this period of time than this. So we'll be ready to vote on this in a couple of weeks. I thank you for your patience. Thank you. Right.
Because it doesn't make sense. It says Euclid Avenue at 124.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
To what? Check.
12408216383. The numbers at the bottom. The numbers right here. We appreciate you. Next, Dr. Guy.
Okay, ordinance number 03-20 is an emergency. Ordinance to amend constitutional legislation on basic standards for residential occupancy, chapter 1351, reducing the annual certificate of rental registration requirement fee from $100 per rental unit to $50 per rental unit for multi-unit dwellings with $200 or more rental units and declaring an emergency. Requested by the Director of Building and Housing, sponsored by Timothy R. Austin, Councilor Law.
Dollar sign will come out.
Dollar signs.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Ordinance number 03-20 bears the name of Councilman Austin. What is your pleasure?
I would like to sponsor ordinance number 03-20 and move for its adoption with the amendment and the removal of the dollar sign in 200. It's 200 units and not $200. And the benefit of this legislation, if you would, Vice President, the benefit of this legislation would allow the city to capitalize on available fees right now for some of the larger complexes that did not want to, they'd rather spend their money on attorneys than spend their money on the fees that are available. There was a compromise with our law director and the attorneys of the other larger complexes within the city of East Cleveland, and it was determined that it would be more economically feasible for the city right now to accept a reduced amount based on the reduced effort required by the inspection department that is right downstairs. So with that consideration, this is a beneficial legislation. So we capitalize on the resources right now and not be caught up in litigation for the next 10 years, respectfully. So anybody have anything else that would, I mean, that's,
And I apologize, I went out of order. I'm call for a second. We can second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Now that was a discussion.
okay, now discussion, what I just said. But to make a long story short, just to repeat and make sure I'm clear, you can check me if I'm incorrect, Madam Law Director. There is some entities that have a larger population, consolidated population, and larger high rises. They did not agree with the dollar amount that was required to inspect their facility based on the limited effort that will be required to come and inspect 200 units at one place versus more than 200 individual residents. And to accommodate their concern, the law director was able to negotiate a cost that was reasonable based on the amount of effort required for a consolidated effort of 200 units or more. And based on that consolidated effort and the response, this is the negotiated settlement, if you will, to allow us to have money right now as opposed to waiting 5 or 10 years through litigation. Any other discussion or concerns? That's all I have.
I think we should thank the law director for her legal work, because when these things get caught up in litigation, they can go on for years. So let's give her a round of applause.
It's all economies of scale discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any more discussion from my colleagues? Dr. Johnson, you call for the vote, please.
Counselor Austin,
Yay.
Counselor Stevenson,
Yeah.
Counselor Martin,
Yay.
Counselor Gowdy,
Yeah.
and Counselor Smith.
Yay.
Okay, ordinance number 03-20 has passed.
Thank you.
Okay, resolution number 01-20 is a first read, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding, MOU, between the Northeast Ohio region of the American Red Cross and the city of East Cleveland, Ohio, through its fire department, to document cooperation between the two organizations in conducting smoke alarm installations and fire safety education in the community. Requested by the fire chief and sponsored by Nathaniel Martin, Counselor at Large, Timothy Austin, Counselor at Large, and Ernest L. Smith, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Martin.
Thank you. I want to say that, you know, we have the council person supporting this, and we did it based on just being safe, the names. We didn't do committee as a whole, we put the names down. But I need to read this, even though this is the first reading, because it's important for the public to hear. The two entities involved in this is the American Red Cross and the East Cleveland Fire Department. And here's what you benefit from. The American Red Cross, the Northeast Ohio region, the Northeast Ohio region of the American Red Cross shall establish and or provide East Cleveland Fire Department with the following at no cost. A smoke alarm hotline that will be used to accept requests from residents who are seeking installation of smoke alarms. At regular intervals, a list of addresses of residential properties that have requested provisions of single station smoke alarms through the American Red Cross smoke alarm hotline. When available, a supply of up to 3 smoke alarms will be installed in the residential properties on the list provided. When available, a supply of up to 3 smoke alarms will be installed. Copies of education materials to be used for the following: a home fire safety checklist for review with the residents, information on how to create a fire escape plan if that happens. Here's the component of the East Cleveland Fire Department, very briefly. The East Cleveland Fire Department shall ensure the following activities/actions are conducted in a professional and workmanlike manner. And this is what they do. The employees and personnel will report to the addresses identified in the list provided by the Red Cross during daytime hours in the appropriate apparel and the appropriate identification to install, so you make sure the real people are coming to your house. The East Cleveland Fire Department employees shall install up to 3 smoke alarms provided by the Red Cross in living spaces of residential properties identified using the following concepts. The smoke alarm shall be affixed within the residence in accordance with manufacturer's recommendations. The East Cleveland Fire Department personnel shall conduct a short fire education presentation to the residents at the location that will include supplying the residents with the following. This is important. A Red Cross home fire safety checklist for review with the residents. This is all the residents that will get the smoke alarm. A Red Cross information on how to create a fire escape plan. The East Cleveland Fire Department shall, at the time of installation, and the residents acknowledge that the alarms are being provided by the American Red Cross. The East Cleveland Fire Department shall utilize the appropriate forms as agreed upon by the American Red Cross. The East Cleveland Fire Department shall utilize the appropriate forms as agreed upon by the 2 parties and return the forms to the preparedness director of the American Red Cross within 7 days of the actual installation. And lastly, the East Cleveland Fire Department will report month-end inventory of smoke alarms that have yet to be installed by the preparedness director of the American Red Cross by the 27th of each month. And each party to the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, will abide by the provisions set forth in this exhibit. And lastly, not to be redundant, they will provide batteries, unlimited batteries for the smoke alarm. This is a good thing for our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Any other, discussion? Colleagues? Hearing none, thank you very much. Move on. That was the first reading.
Yes.
Next we have remarks and request of the public. 3 minutes, please.
Dr. Patricia Bohoviac, 1894 Farmington. First, I would like to say that my favorite speech of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s is his Beyond Vietnam speech, which he gave at the Riverside Church in New York City. I have two conflicting things that I would like to announce for Thursday. One is the District 10 County Council Candidates Forum on Thursday at 6:30 at the Cleveland Heights Library. And because that relates to our Noble Road dump, I think everyone should be interested in it. However, on Thursday at 5:30, the school board will be meeting to discuss the school's finances. And, while the school is currently in the black, they're heading for the red. That's at 5:30 in the board offices.
What date is that again, Dr. Blowhead?
The 23rd, both of those things are on the 23rd, that's this Thursday. Now, on Monday, February 24th, the school board will have a meeting to discuss the academic progress of the district. And that's also at 5:30, and that's also at the board offices.
What date is that again?
Monday, February 24th, at 5:30 p.m. in the board offices. Now, at the Academic Distress Commission meeting last Thursday, also at the board offices, the CEO, Dr. Pettigrew, started talking about right-sizing the district. And he is talking about having a listening tour again to discuss and to hear what people have to say about this. And when they talk about right-sizing, you know what that's a euphemism for.
What is it euphemism for?
Right-sizing?
Mm-hmm.
Downsizing.
Okay.
So the discussion of that will be coming. I don't have the dates. I don't know whether Ms. Kyle, who is on the Academic Distress Commission commission, has any dates for that yet or not. But I would keep your ears open, because the other thing that the CEO stated is that he hopes to have a decision in place before the end of the academic year. So we're saying essentially by the end of May. That's not precise, but that's the approximate date on what is to be done regarding the schools. So I would keep your ears open. When I hear, I will share that on Facebook. I'll share that on email. Everybody here knows that I send you emails when I think there's something that you might be interested in. And I'll let you know what I know. But please keep your ears open. And when you hear that there is something going on to discuss the status of the schools, please attend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a few things. The meeting minutes, there was no second on. I assume, I know one of the councilors mentioned that they just now reading the minutes. I want to know, did you just receive the minutes? And it seems you did. Why are you just receiving the minutes before the council meeting? And I thank you for doing your due diligence and not voting for some minutes that you just received 2 minutes before the meeting. we gotta do a better job at getting you all these minutes, so that things like that won't happen again. And thank you for just not voting yes, because I thank all of you. As far as the occupancy fees, I understand we have to drop them so we won't be in court. But we also have to think about these smaller apartments and the smaller two-family houses. We gotta think about them too. We need to drop those prices also. $100 is, I mean, if you got a 6-suiter, then that's $600 a year. The person probably can barely fill up the building. But we're catering to these big apartment buildings. We need to do something to help these smaller ones also. It needs to maybe, a 900% increase is way too much for them. We can't just, since they sick, the big people sick their attorneys on us, we're gonna drop the prices of cater, but since the smaller apartments and the two-family home owners, they can't afford these $450 attorneys, we just want to figure about that. And then, we need to look for a grant or we need help with the bed bugs in the city. Our city is infested with bed bugs. We got them in the courtroom, we got them in the schools, we have bed bugs all over the place, and we need to try to find some funding so that we can try to minimize the damage with the bed bugs around the city. Hopefully someone. You see them all the time. Yeah, they're in here, because they live in the carpet. This carpet hasn't been changed. Yeah, this carpet hasn't been changed in, 10, 15, 12 years, something like that. I got family in the schools. They send me pictures of the bed bugs in the schools, so anyone, that's irrefutable. They're in the schools. And, that's about it.
Thank you, sir.
Gladys Walcott, 13319 Ford Avenue, Mayor, councilors, good evening, and thank you for what you're doing. I want to thank the mayor for announcing all the activity and all the public things that's going on at the library. I think because there's a lot going on in the city that the citizens really don't know about. As a matter of fact, even some of the city public meetings, I attended 2 public meetings, and there was only 2 citizens here. So it was the fiscal planning commission meeting, also the community development meeting, where citizens are supposed to have some input as to what you would like to see done with the dollars. So I don't know if that's done by design, so that you can just use, the city can just use, put in there what they want to put in there, and not get any input from the community as to what I would like to see happen in the city with some of that money. So I was very disappointed there was only 2 citizens there at each of those very important meetings. So I don't know whether it was a lack of communication to the citizens, or it's just a lack on the part of the citizens and not wanting to attend. Also, I thought that the hosting of our meetings was supposed to be at the public library, since that's the only real venue that we have where a lot of our citizens possibly go in. So several times I have checked at the library, there was no posting of the council meetings, no postings of a number of meetings that's going on here at City Hall, where there would be a lot of citizens coming in and out and watching those postings, because I pick up stuff from the library, and there's a lot of citizens that go in. Also, when I did attend the fiscal Financial Planning Commission meeting, I didn't realize, I think I heard somebody say that
Yes,
they,
it been passed. They said,
I don't recall it being voted on as passed. I recall them saying that they would meet again in March.
okay.
And I don't know whether they meant they'd meet again in March to revise it, or meet again to get another proposal for the recovery plan. So I don't have the minutes, because they said the minutes would not be ready for another week, and I haven't requested the minutes, because I asked well, the lady that's in charge, and she said the minutes wouldn't be ready for another week or so. So, that, and the other thing is, the mayor did address the times for the cameras, I believe, because they was talking about the time that our kids go to school and get out of school, and that they were supposed to be set at a certain time, but our kids get out of school a little later sometime, so then it should be in effect later than what the state or whoever authorizes that time. So he did bring that up, and I appreciate that, so I hope you'll address that.
Thank you, Ms. Walcott.
Huh?
Thank you. Because I hate to
So,
see your friend.
okay, but I do want to know about the recovery plan. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is David Radcliffe, Senior, 1860 Hastings, good evening, Mayor, good evening, City Council. I have two things. One is, when will the program for the smoke detectors, when will that program start, or when it will, when that will happen? Two, it was two vacant houses tore down on Hastings this past week. Well, they tore one down Monday, started Friday, and finished up Monday, and it just started the other one today. The first one they started on, I asked them about, because I was in city council, and they say, it was a while back, they said when they started tearing these buildings down, they would put down traps for rodents. I asked the first set of guys that were trying to house about the traps, they said, what traps? I was like, it's a road trap, we don't know nothing about road traps. The second house that started today, I asked them about the road traps. He was like, what traps? I was like, for the roads. He was like, roads. I was like, yeah, I thought y'all was supposed to put down traps before y'all started tearing the house down. He said, no, I don't know nothing about that. So if I could just, if I could just find out, these traps will be put down, are they being put down because people on my street are complaining about rodents from a building that was torn down months ago. Start being like field mice, because we're right by the park. So not rats, but just field mice and other rodents coming out of these parks. So if I just, make sure that they put down the traps, I'd be appreciated. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Name the address. At least name the street, name the street. You wasting your time.
I because my time is fast. The Ohio City, what I have here is at the library, house at the library, is throughout this, I guess, state of most libraries has that program. And we at the library is providing a safe, soft service. And I guess the city is providing that hard service.
So when I work in the mayor's office, probably you don't have to come here all the time.
Excuse me?
Sorry about that.
Anyway, we had we have a program there too at the library in reference to finding jobs and then job training and what have you at this library as well. So I just want to let you know it's not all of the city, it's also the libraries throughout the state that has that particular program. So we are not the only one. And I hope that we will, or the city or somebody do get notices out that they do have that program going on at the library. And whereas I know our people need it. And again, in reference to this first reading, this ordinance number 02-20, I think that should have been passed, and it should be passed as an emergency. Because safety is important to the children that's traveling our streets. And also, you must put signs up. If you're going to change the speed on Euclid Avenue, because there are some places it's 35 miles an hour. And as I articulated earlier when I was up here, there, most cities or municipalities have fluctuate between 25 and 30, and especially in a commercial zone, it's 25 miles an hour. In the resident zone, it's 25. And in the school, which is 20 miles an hour. So, but we need to put signs up if we're gonna put the police out there. It couldn't be my time.
It was. The time too, it was. Sit down, man.
Might need 20 more seconds.
Because I was interrupted by, when I was
See, you
speaking.
still wasting no 20 seconds.
I mean, I've just been discombobulated. It's always this case, but it doesn't. Oh, in reference to you did change it, but you got now everybody sponsoring something. Only one council sponsors a piece of legislation. Excuse me. Only one council sponsors a legislation. The other co-sponsor the legislation. That's the way the law works, and that's the way it's now.
Thank you, Mr. O'Malley. Appreciate
But you
it.
did change it from that council as a whole, because anybody up there done it as a whole.
Hello, my name is Phil Scott.
Hey, how you doing?
That's what we want to find out. I want to find out about the laws about the, what you call it? The commercial lease. My name is on the commercial lease of Irving Joe Coffee Cafe at 15449 Euclid. But they said I did not sign the lease. Yet I was brought up in court without the other person for eviction. So I want to know, how do you handle this? Plus, I also want to know, the other party came and talked to the judge, and that judge recluses himself without, now finding out the magistrate is his personal attorney.
That's interesting.
So, I need to find out. Am I the only one who evicted from the building? Because it was told to me and other people that the lease wouldn't be renewed to me because of a personal relationship of how I did someone. But that shouldn't have anything to do with the lease. And when I asked where was the copy of the lease can't be produced. But they could do a ruling. So I am evicted out of the cafe, another person is not. I'm liable to pay, the other person is not. So how do we handle that? You explain it?
Yes.
You get answers at the end.
Huh?
We respond at the end of the
Oh,
meeting.
okay.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. It's a good
Hello,
day.
Paul Davis.
Very good day. My name is Paul Clinton Davis Jr. I live at 13855 Superior Road, and that's in East Cleveland. Very confused with that building because one side says Cleveland Heights and the other side says East Cleveland. It's crazy. My zip code is 44118.
Yeah.
Hello. Anyway, I'm here today because I was wrong. I made some statements about the mayor, about y'all. You weren't gonna do your job. And I went too fast because y'all just got on board. And a lot of stuff was going on was people behind y'all who didn't do nothing. You understand what I'm saying? And I said, y'all ain't gonna do that. A lot of people say it. But I'm here to apologize.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, Martin, you always say, you need to vote. You need to pray.
I say
All
that
of
too.
us need to pray for East Cleveland, for these people, for the fire department, the police department, the, what I'm trying to say, the people down there.
Administration.
Yep. We need to pray. God say if you need it, call me. You don't pray when we come in. We don't pray together. We need to. We are black people. You know where you come from? You know where our roots came from? You know where our slaves come from? Ain't nothing changed. We done lost all that. You go see Martin Luther King? Y'all just go and listen to stories. You got to keep doing what he was doing. We ain't doing that. You got some of the laziest people in East Cleveland. Yeah, she wanted to say that, but I won't say it. Because I believe it is what it is. I was sitting here, God sent me here. Because I thought about it. Let me tell you, see this paper? I could be wrong, but it is what it is. These people got kids. These people got families. They go to school and say, oh my, yeah man, your daddy, your mama. That's not good paper. You know, what else is good stuff? What else is stuff that we doing in here? So people know on the outside. When you was out here campaigning, you quit. You need to go back and knock on these people's doors. They ain't coming to you, so you got to go to them. Come on, I'm serious. You keep sitting here waiting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13 people out of this city. Come on. Y'all need each other. We're here because we need y'all. We come up here not to listen to some dumb. We come up here to hear something good.
Thank you, Mr.
That's what we come up here for. We didn't come up here to bash y'all. Martin, I feel for you. 26 years.
Thank you.
Hey, my brother, hang in there. Okay? Now,
That's your time, Mr. Davis.
call it done.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. I'm coming back. One more. I got another one.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
You'll be in the next one.
I want to thank everyone for coming. Next. Response of council and mayor of remarks of the public.
Thank you,
Mayor
Council
King.
President. Try to make this brief. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out, and as always, if I don't answer your questions or concerns, we'll be outside in my normal seat to follow up any questions or concerns some more. I'd like to thank the lady who got up and did mention rebuilding East Cleveland together. Our employment center over at the East Cleveland Public Library, as we were able to secure a relationship with Ohio Means Jobs and bring them into our city, into our library. We look forward to Tri-C joining us to help create careers for people in this city so that we can continue to elevate the lives of our residents and our families. We have to do a better job of promoting it, getting the word out, and we do need more people to come out to our meetings. Paul Davis, I really appreciate your kind words. I know you've been following politics for a number of years. Miss Phyllis, I butchered your last name here. Scott, my heart goes out to you. We look so forward to East Cleveland's coffee shop. I think it was 17 when you came in, Irving Joe's. Phenomenal idea, loved it. Joe's a Shaw guy. I feel bad for what happened. I don't know the details. What I can tell you is that there's no one up here who can really, you need to find legal counsel, right? And if you want to talk to legal counsel, please come to my office and I will bring legal counsel to kind of give you some advice, but we don't control your leases or the court, separate branch of government. Smoke detectors, Mr. Ratcliffe, please stay tuned for those smoke detectors, as this is something that's coming back into effect, and we will be rolling these out. Now the demos are done by demolition contractors. I believe you spoke to Belinda, and I'm assuming she did tell you it's County Board of Health that does the rodent control. So if anyone knows of demolitions that are coming, please call County Board of Health, and they will help to abate some of that. Last week, the Fiscal Commission, which I sit on and the Council President sits on, did pass the city's fiscal recovery plan. It did pass at the Fiscal Commission meeting last week. It passed through council last year, right? Now keep in mind that per being in fiscal emergency, we have to pass this plan. And if we do not pass it through council, the city is subject to a reduction in expenditure, and we did have that happen through a mishap last year, where we were reducing our spending because the city failed to uphold its obligation per fiscal emergency. So it did pass. And closing out, I would like to go back to this. This is from the Parade Daily website, and it's on here on the third page. It is inspirational quotes from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You know, his birthday was yesterday, celebrated yesterday. 91 years after his birth and 57 years after his historic I Have a Dream speech, Martin Luther King Jr.'s striving words and writings remain as relevant and inspiring today as they were when he lived. Honoring King's lasting legacy by reading 55 of Martin Luther King Jr.'s best quotes. Some you may have heard already, and some you probably haven't, but all of them worth repeating and contemplating as we celebrate equality, faith, and the profound truths of his messages. I got two more for you, and I'm done. We may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now.
Amen.
Things to think about as elected officials, as we move this city forward, right?
Right.
As we move this city forward, we are all in the same boat.
Right.
So if you hurt one, you hurt us all, you hurt the city.
That's right.
And there was no point in that. Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but it comes through continuous struggle. So as we struggle to keep moving this city forward and rebuilding it together, unless there are any questions or concerns, that Council President concludes my remarks.
Thank you, Mayor King. Councilman Martin.
I would like to remind this council they all want to have 5 minutes and so that the mayor.
I rise to speak. I hear Mr. O'Mays right now. Love is an important concept. We have to love each other. I love Belinda Kyle. Belinda Kyle, you love me? We love each other. I gotta say this. Over 20-some years ago, we had a grant for $2 million. It's called the Special Purpose Grant 33. It started under Mayor Emmanuel Anawar. They spent all of it, but about $340,000. 20-some years later, and I've been hounding this for years. And I gotta give the kudos to where it goes. Brandon King listened. These guys wasn't here, because they didn't go back that far. And he acted on it. There's $340,000 left in that grant. And I told him the money was still there because I did my research, Brother Smith. And they found the money. The money's there, they implemented it. Here's my concern, and this is a suggestion, staying positive. We're spending about $28,000 with Tri-C. We got another almost $300,000 left. Now, when the program was implemented in the beginning, back then, over in the 90s, they had 3 or 4 programs going. So this is my suggestion to the mayor and to the administration, that even though we got Tri-C at $28,000, we still got over $300,000 left in the grant. There's some other entities that compete to do it too. I think we can do that too. I think that what we're dealing here, if we give people jobs, we're building our tax base. So here's my suggestion positively, that we try to connect with 1 or 2 of those other entities to spend the money. The money's been sitting there. It's amazing that the money was there, and I said the money was there. And thanks to the administration, and I met with Smedley and all of them. We found the money, and now we're finally implementing it. I don't want to take any credit, but I've learned to be persistent about everything. I wouldn't let it die. And thank you for picking it up, and now we're running with it. But I think we can go further than $28,000. I think because the need is so great, this is a job market right now.
Right.
Okay. Amazon is hiring, universities is hiring. These jobs are paying about $16,000, $15,000 an hour. You can get by with that. We need to increase our tax base as well as build some homes. So take that into consideration. I think we can spend some more of that money now to hire and train people with the job shop. What he didn't tell you is they got a lady over there, her name's Ebony Johnson. Is that her name?
Yes.
She's over at the East Cleveland Library helping people with the job. There's another program that I want to suggest to them that I know is helpful, is towards employment. They cover it all. The resume writing, the interview, is one of the best I've seen. Besides, back in the day, Cleveland Works was the best in the country out of Cleveland with Attorney David Roth. So take that suggestion. Let's spend some more of that money. We need to put people to work, okay, in our city. The other 2 things I want to cover right quick is the visioning. Yesterday, I attended the NOAA meeting, and Tim Austin attended the NOAA meeting. And Cleveland State was there, they're talking about visioning. They need your input for this visioning. But the meetings are going to take place with NOAA's meetings, when they meet, the money that they meet. Here's my suggestion to the council, and I'm reaching out to everybody on this council, that we get them here at our meeting in February, that we have them come so that we can get the word out, if it's on TV, that they can be a part of this visioning thing. We need them here. What's his name? Professor England from Cleveland State? Dean England, and 4 or 5 of them. But they're saying they want us to tell them what we want done. So let's get them here so we can get it on TV, and we get more people. Those who want to attend, NOAA can. But we need them here because we are elected officials. That's going to be vitally important. What I felt from them yesterday was they're reaching out to us saying, well, this is your city. If you want A, B, C done, you have to participate. Okay? And they're listening. And they got a lot of experienced people handling this. That's what I picked up. Lastly, when the governor was here, State Senator Kenny Yuko had a badge on him. The badge said, do something. Well, I'm going to take it to another level. Do something positive in your city. If Dr. King were alive today and he would say to you, oh, Mace, what do you do in your community? You have to have a response. If he would say to you, Belinda Cobb, what do you do in your community? If he were to say to Dr. Patricia Brooks, what do you do in your community? You need to respond. Everybody has a role to do something in this. It can't be done by just us. You have a role. do something positive. Be a part of your community. I've spoken. Thank you.
Councilwoman Gowdy.
Yeah, I thank everybody for coming out tonight, and to Phyllis, you know, my heart go out to you about the lease thing, and we do have a law director over there, and she should direct you in the right direction, and like the mayor said, come to his office like that, and you know, you should get some kind of results, because that is legal. And far as the newspaper, I'm glad that I have my newspaper out, or be coming out. And Judge It For Yourself News Talk, I do have a News Talk radio. And I like to broadcast, and I like to get out things that the people don't know about. So I'm standing up for something today, and not falling for anything. So I thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you from coming out again. And stay tuned, more to come.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Stevenson. Council Vice President Stevenson, I'm sorry.
I'd just like to say that, Mr. Ratcliffe, there is a severe problem in the city when it comes to roads. They're everywhere. And the county, if there's not holes in your yard, they're not coming. You can't identify rat holes, they're not coming. Anytime you tear down as much property that has been torn down in this city, the city needs to be abated, period, across the board, and the county is not going to do that. It behooves us as the residents who live here and this council to take the steps that are necessary to see that people can live comfortably in their homes without being run through their houses by rodents. I have a very large house, and I have experienced it, and all my neighbors have experienced the situation. So the county, I mean, we called the county, and if you don't have holes, if you can't identify the holes in the yard where the nest is, there's nothing, they're not gonna do anything. So I think that's something that this council needs to look at. And in light of all the tearing down that went on, we disturbed the nest. And when you disturb the nest, they disperse. And so we have to look at how do we resolve that. I think that it's a serious issue, and it's getting worse. I've never seen it this bad. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Austin.
Wow, thank you all for coming out also. The Charter Review Commission, we had a suspense of March, so the time is now. Mayor, if you could, there is some, a boost required, from the administration. Let's see if we can get something on the table before the next meeting to talk about actually forming that Charter Review Commission and update some things that are required right now. And that way we can make the March deadline. Now, what day was that, Dr. Guy?
Well, it's too late for the March
Oh,
deadline.
it's too late.
But
Oh,
they'll,
wow.
they kind of roll it around, yeah.
Okay, well, at least we'll have the information we need to start the process. As far as the council and the city doing something about road abatement, we did pass legislation to allow the county board of health to accept a certain, I think it's like $3 per resident or something like that. I don't remember what the denomination was, but we did say, yes, health department want to partner with you so we can get some of the road abatement done. So how that process works, if it's not working, maybe we can kind of ask them to go back and relook it for our city. Mayor, posting the speed limit signs in the correct areas as they are supposed to be today, whether it's 25 or 35 in those locations as they sit today. That is one of the things that is a long pole in the tent for me. That gives me pause, because if we cannot reflect what it is supposed to be right now, then asking for a change where, there may not be a need for change. Because over the weekend, I saw a whole lot of police stops along Euclid Avenue. If the police was in here or outside, they deserve an applause, because they was out to get it. They stopping people on both sides of the street of Euclid Avenue. People used to zoom down on the weekend. It was a whole lot of stopped cars along Euclid Avenue over the weekend. And I was very happy to see that. They're actually doing enforcement, and that's what we asked them to do. And if you see a flashing red and blue siren, you automatically get your attention, you slow yourself down a little bit. And that allowed the traffic to look like people just going like they're supposed to go. And this was not just during the night, but also during the day. So they had some folks out there doing enforcement, and I believe that would indeed, make us safe enough so that you can actually see what the speed limit is supposed to be. And having some enforcement out there, you may not have to take any action at this point. Let's observe what right looks like. Right, if the signs are not posted correctly, we don't know what right looks like. So that's a challenge. We've already discussed that if you could be so kind, service, to get those signs posted. But there's 25 to 35 of those areas. Let's post those signs. And let the police officers enforce the laws that are already on the books and take the opportunity to keep us a lot safer. There was a discussion about the meeting that she went to that addressed community development. There was also a survey that came out of that meeting that should be getting passed out, and if you don't have one, Mayor Rand Leach has the master copy, and he'll give you one. So go down to the Building and Housing Department on the first floor of City Hall and get a copy of that survey, so your voice can be heard. And I did hear some information about visioning. When the term came out, what is visioning? Seeing the city the way you would like to see it. And as my time winds down, I want to tell you a little bit more about visioning. I Googled visioning, city visioning, and city planning. And it was a 5-year through a 30-year plan. So some cities want to look out 30 years. What do we want to look like? There was a city that chose to update an abandoned railhead. And that railhead, they took a part of that railhead and put in, a park setting. And they put in like tennis courts, basketball courts, all the sports complexes, everything that a sports complex would need. And the city started drawing towards where that sports complex was built. And after they built the sports complex, they built a little bit of housing, then a little bit more housing, and then when you have everything that you need in a certain area, guess what you've done to that dead railhead? That dead railhead is not dead anymore. The dead railhead is not even how they recognize that part of their city anymore. They recognize it as that young, trendy, and thriving part of their economy now. So if we take that same perspective of building something phenomenal, don't take no 50%, don't take the cheapest bidder, you want the best value, the best bang for your buck. And this is an opportunity for us to respectfully, not truly the sports complex, but whatever that thing is to bring us back together and start doing community again. And Councilor Martin mentioned the Note meeting that we attended. They showed us a 30-minute video of what East Cleveland used to look like. I said, 30 minutes, that's way too long. But after I saw the 30-minute worth of what East Cleveland used to be, it wasn't always as, it didn't always look as fresh and dark-skinned as I am. Hello? There was a whole lot of people that lived here that really did a lot of stuff to keep the city on task economically. So now when that economic base left, we forgot we still phenomenal as a city. And I asked that we all come back together, the pastors and the churches in the community, to bring us back together in a way that only you can. And let's start doing community again, because we got the solution right here. Thank you very much, Brother President, for that.
Speaking as a millionaire.
Thank you.
They was millionaires.
Thank my colleagues, Mr. Mayor, Madam Law Director, great clerk, Dr. Guy, cameraman Drew. Most importantly, I want to thank you all, the great residents of East Cleveland, our neighbors. I'll be real brief. I want to say, I want to give condolences out to the Melton family. Walter Melton lost his father yesterday. And I also want to thank our service department for working really hard and salt and plowing up the city of East Cleveland streets. I saw a lot of positive comments. That's what I like to see, from the side streets to the main streets. I really thank them for all their sacrifice and hard work. Again, thank you to my colleagues. Great meeting today, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that the meeting be adjourned. Second.